the person they're in love with.
Doers and dreamers.
You can use that recognition to pay it forward.
Ordinary Americans accomplishing extraordinary things.
When you smile, you receive one back most of the time.
We're going to prove to you that optimism and hope are paving the way to an even brighter tomorrow.
We've got a lot of programs that are specifically focused on the children of our fallen heroes.
At Positively America, our mission is to feature good news.
Welcome aboard. Bobby Laurie and Nikki Noya have your ticket to everything you need for an on-the-go lifestyle. Grab your boarding pass. It's time to jet set.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday, May 28th. I'm your host, Kimberly Perot, and thanks for joining Good Morning Vail. On today's episode, it is still Mental Health Awareness Month. As we are wrapping up this month of May, we had conversations with Dr. Heather Hans, who is a psychotherapist, as well as Scott Dodinger, chronic stress counselor. What does that mean? Well, we'll let you find out right on our show. Plus, all the fun things that are happening this summer at the AMP. So let's get started.
Get up. Things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring, or fall. Your home in the Rockies has it all. So get up, get ready to start your day. The coffee's brewing, you're on your way. The fun is waiting outside your door. Good morning, Vail. Good morning, Vail.
Think Big features top kid inventors who face off against each other to see who can come up with the most innovative and creative invention. In Think Big, kids acquire and showcase their skills in creativity, science, marketing, design, and don't forget, teamwork. Check your local listings and watch the world's most innovative kids. They create and invent new toys, games, websites, and new modes of transportation. Tune in to Think Big.
Stevie Lee Woods presents Nashville Roadhouse Live, where country meets rock and roll.
It's where I drank my first beer, where I found Jesus, where I wrecked my first car, I tore it all to pieces.
Join us every week for more live performances right here on Nashville Roadhouse Live.
Did you know that all Eagle County residents and visitors can get a free Eagle Valley Library District card? All you need is a photo ID. You get our online databases and resources, free music, free streaming, all from wherever you have internet access. Free audiobooks and e-audiobooks straight to your phone. Go into your Eagle Valley Library District branch today and get your library card.
Hi there! Are you ready to explore famous neighborhoods from New York City to Kentucky? Watch The Neighborhood with host Nicole Newman. Featuring famous people, unique history, and delicious places to eat and drink. our viewers get an inside personal look at each neighborhood. With each episode, we learn, grow, laugh, and live like a local, not just a visitor. Welcome to the neighborhood. Check your local program schedule and tune in.
You know TV8 Vail has great local content, but did you know about our production services? Hire an expert to develop your website reel, commercials, live stream events, studio production, and more. If you can dream it, we can help you do it. TV8 delivers high-quality content in both English and Spanish. Contact us today to discuss your next project. Email Danielle at tv8vail.com or call 970-628-9881.
Daily Flash Latino. Designed for the American Latino audience, Daily Flash Latino hosts Jessica Reyes and Fabian Marcano deliver their fresh perspective on the latest entertainment news, celebrity gossip, fashion, health, and more in both English and Spanish, aka Spanglish. Daily Flash Latino builds, connects, and celebrates the diverse Hispanic audience. Daily Flash Latino, trending news and entertainment with a splash of Spanglish.
Good morning, Vail.
We often talk about health and wellness here on the show, but we don't talk about the piece that is the elephant in the room, stress, chronic stress, and how to manage it. Avisha had a conversation with Scott Doninger about what to do and how to identify the symptoms. Let's take a look.
Welcome back. As we continue talking about mental health, I have with me Scott Doninger. Scott, you are a chronic stress counselor.
Yes.
All right. Tell us a little bit about what that is.
So I help people who are, for lack of a better term, kind of stuck in a state of anxiety or stress that in many cases actually winds up manifesting in some kind of illness that they can't get rid of. So people who are living day to day and they know that they're unhappy, they know that they are searching for some answers inside of themselves, and in many cases they can feel the stress or anxiety in their bodies, but they haven't been able to either find someone else to work with who's helped them navigate through a state of chronic stress, or this is the first time in their lives they've encountered a moment in time that doesn't end. So they're just not feeling well, they're not happy, and it's become a chronic state that they've been living in.
I'd like to ask you about your story because you told me that you were living in a state of stress. You've been a successful businessman, you've had startups, you've had many careers in your life, and you were just living in stress, and you were experiencing what was like a mystery illness. You didn't know what it was. Right. And then eventually you realized it was chronic fatigue syndrome.
Correct.
Walk us through this story.
Yeah, I'm actually going to start with a piece of data. The Center for Disease, the CDC, in 2018 or beginning of 2019 did a survey of how many people were officially in the United States diagnosed as having chronic fatigue syndrome. And back in 2019, it was about 1.8 million people. So a lot of people, but in comparison to the amount of people in the United States, a small number. Well, they just did another research study and posted the results this past December, and it's now 3.3 million people. It's almost a doubling in 3 years. And that is outside of the potential effects of what we went through with COVID. The reason I bring this up is because many of us are living in a state of chronic fatigue, but it has not been diagnosed because so many doctors don't really even understand what chronic fatigue syndrome is. As it turned out in my life, I would never have described myself as living in a state of chronic stress, but that's exactly what it turned out to be. And in about 2017, I became ill, didn't know what it was. I went to any number of doctors, from acupuncturists to my general practitioner to neurologists to thyroid specialists to gut and digestive system dysfunction specialists. No one could make me feel better. And as it turned out, the solution and the path back to wellness had more to do with what was happening above my neck as it did what was happening below my neck. I found a wonderful integrative specialist when I moved to Boulder in 2017, and she brought my biophysical health back to normal states. But had I not found a counselor who introduced me to parts work, it's actually the correct terminology is called internal family systems, but in regular terms we call it parts work. It was parts work, which is a therapeutic mental health approach that really got my health back, because what I realized was it was parts of me that were actually carrying so much stress for so many years of my life. And over time, if we don't heal those parts of us, they may get us sick. We would never have thought of it that way, but if we don't help these parts heal, the parts actually can produce and cause illness in the body because they're carrying so much toxic energy from us being in a state of stress or anxiety.
So parts work, as I understand it, is part of internal family systems. That was coined by Dr. Schwartz, correct?
Exactly, Dr. Richard Schwartz.
And how would you describe it? I mean, some people hear it and they're like, oh, does that mean I have multiple personalities? Who are these parts? But apparently we all have these parts, like our inner child and different parts. Explain to us what that is.
Yeah, Vijay, I'm glad you brought it up that way. So there are two really interesting pieces of parts work that I will start out with. People have been writing about different parts of our personalities since the beginning of time. Socrates wrote about parts of us. Shakespeare wrote about different parts of us. And now I would even ask your audience, think about when you're talking with friends and family, many of us actually say this in our lives. Well, there's a part of me that's upset about this. There's a part of me that's happy about this. It is not an epiphany to understand that our inner world is comprised of different parts of us. Most of these parts actually begin formulating when we're young. So it might be a part of us that becomes really shy in school because we feel judged or criticized by other people. So there's a part of us that makes us hide and not be as public as we might otherwise be. There's a part of us that has become like a hider part of us.
So yes, I have, my part is, I have this protector part, as a mom.
Exactly.
So if anyone messes with my kids, this part comes out of me, this mama bear protector.
That's exactly
so we all have these different parts. And tell me how parts work helped you.
Yeah, so before I do that, I'll just go back to the second part. The real epiphany in parts work is not necessarily that we have many parts to us. The real epiphany and the magic about parts work is that also in our inner worlds is our self. And that's self with a capital S. The Buddhists would call that our essence. There are other spiritual approaches that have their words. But the self is born with us. It cannot be damaged. The self does not pathologize any of us. Our inner parts and our inner worlds are not addictive. These are all adaptations to the way we've grown up for all intents and purposes. And the self becomes the agent for healing. And so that's the segue to my own journey. When I discovered parts work, I discovered that there was a part of me that I probably had always known was inside of me, but I didn't understand how powerful a role it had played. All of the stress and anxiety through my childhood and my adolescence and even in my early adult years, there was a part of me that I just became familiar with, and I called it the suppressor. Not unlike a lot of people that we know, I kept all of my energy inside of me. I rarely voiced anger or displeasure or anything that my inner world needed to get out. So this suppressor just kept me safe by keeping my voice quiet. Over time, that produces a tremendous amount of toxic energy in the system. As it turned out in my journey through chronic fatigue, I was actually explaining this to you, I had to go see a neurologist because I couldn't understand why I had such horrible head fog and such fatigue from the head fog. And my neurologist, one of the world's leading migraine specialists at Stanford University, who's associated with the Stanford Clinic of Chronic Fatigue, said to me that my amygdala, which should have been the size of an almond, was about the size of a golf ball. And so what he said to me was, he said, look, we can get you healthy, just like my integrative specialist in Boulder, but the work is going to be bringing you out of a state of chronic anxiety and chronic stress. And that will be the agent for healing for chronic fatigue. Parts work helped me understand how to access the energy of self, which is encapsulated in 8 words that all happen to begin with the letter C. Curiosity, calmness, clarity, confidence, connectedness, creativity. I think that's 8. I might be missing one. If we can access that energy, and all of us have accessed that energy from time to time, we kind of know it when we're in it. When you're talking with someone and it's just a beautiful, calm flow between them. And you can become that wise self that you know is always there. But so often, a part of us gets triggered by something that happens in our lives, something that someone said. Just think of that Thanksgiving dinner table when the person across from you or next to you says the thing and it all spirals and everybody gets hijacked by a part of them that got triggered. If we can access self-energy, that is what can bring us back to a state of calmness. And that state of calmness is not just an emotional state, it's a biophysical state where our bodies do not secrete more of the neurotransmitters that can become toxic, or the hormones that can become toxic, or the stomach acid that can become toxic. So if we can bring ourselves back into a state of calm and curiosity and self-energy, our bodies respond and we don't get as sick. The illnesses that can be caused by living in a state of chronic stress, which range from autoimmune diseases, rheumatoid arthritis, irritable bowel, migraine headaches, skin rashes. All of these may be caused by parts of us that are simply becoming burned out and have not been healed, and they're not releasing the energy that they need to release.
So do you think our medical system has caught up to this theory that our emotions are connected to our physical health?
It's a wonderful question. In some cases, yes, there are many leading indicators. The doctor that I found in Boulder who brought my biophysical health back, her name was Nicole Silver at Boulder Peak Health, and she is a University of San Francisco trained, Western medical trained integrative specialist, but her philosophy, her approach to helping people heal includes the connection between our emotional state and our physical state. She has not been trained in emotional regulation. That's the role of people like me and other therapists who've been trained. The medical profession is lagging behind, for certain. The good news, though, is that we're having discussions like this, and that's why this is so important for all of the audience out there. It's okay now for us to begin to talk about mental illness and states of anxiety in ways that we never did. The bad news is that we've actually lost the narrative on what these terms actually mean. The New York Times ran a really interesting article this past week with a beautiful visual or video segment on it. And what they called out is this incredible phenomenon that's taking place mostly in TikTok and Instagram about what's called high-functioning anxiety. Well, high-functioning anxiety is not even a thing. It's a hashtag. But there are hundreds of millions of videos and related posts related to high-functioning anxiety, and that isn't even a thing. So we don't really even know what the word anxiousness means. There's nothing wrong with having feelings, nothing wrong with having emotions, but we're beginning to pathologize them. Parts work does not pathologize anything.
Wow.
It is a way to, just one final thing, it's a way to understand what's happening in our inner worlds, which so many other approaches just don't address.
Wow. Well, you brought up a really good point. A lot of people are getting their information, or should I say misinformation, from TikTok about mental health.
That's right.
Yeah, and in many ways, it's the social media, it's the society we live in, it's the culture that is contributing to what is causing us the anxiety and the depression. Thank you so much. Where can people find you? What services do you offer? Do you do parts work with people?
Yeah, parts work is at the core of my approach, and I appreciate you asking me. I have a website, www.scottdoniger.com, very, very easy to remember. Parts work is at the core of my approach. There are some other approaches and other modalities that I bring in. So all of the work that people do on meditation and somatics and sound healing and cold plunges, all of these things are really good, and many of them can be extremely therapeutic when coupled with something like parts work. Parts work is helping a person understand what's happening from the inside out, in their inner world, at the root cause of the things that might be driving anxiety and stress. All of these other approaches can be extremely helpful in the moment. So if someone can begin a meditation practice or a journaling practice every morning, that is going to help regulate their system as the day goes, regardless of what happens. So the work I do is anchored in parts work. For people who have already been diagnosed with complex PTSD, there's an approach that I've also been trained in called components-based psychotherapy, CPB. And it's a beautiful approach for helping people who are acutely diagnosed with PTSD in a complex way. Parts work is actually part of that therapeutic modality. So parts work is the through line to the work that I bring to people. And it is manifestly the most innovative, having lived through analysts who specialized in Freudian analysis or Jungian analysis, and having that experience. Parts work is by far the most innovative and the most effective approach that I've ever come across.
Well, thank you so much, Scott, for the important work that you do, and you've helped so many people, and it was great talking to you today. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome aboard. Bobby Laurie and Nikki Noya have your ticket to everything you need for an on-the-go lifestyle. Grab your boarding pass. It's time to jet set.
Take the first game every one of us played in the schoolyard. Turn up the degree of difficulty to maximum, and then let loose some of the fastest and most agile athletes in the world to go one-on-one in what you have is the most extreme pursuit contest you've ever known. It's intense, it's addictive, and there's only one rule. Don't get caught.
Oh my gosh. If you haven't seen World Chase Tag before, here's how it works.
2 teams of up to 6 athletes compete in a series of one-on-one chases. Each chase lasts up to 20 seconds and has 1 chaser and 1 evader.
Opportunity to points on the board! Oh!
Whoever wins the duel stays on as the evader, and teams get 1 point for each evasion they make.
And it looks like the opening point of this contest. Yes,
it's the best of 16 chases to win the match, with a sudden death chase-off required to break any ties. It's win or go home from now on. Don't miss it.
One of the longest-running syndicated television series is back, America's Black Forum, a weekly series highlighting the latest in our lifestyles, business, entertainment, and finance. We introduce you to entrepreneurs who are making their mark in the business world and leaders who are fighting for change.
Welcome to America's Black Forum.
Tune in each week to know what's happening in our world today on America's Black Forum.
I'm Danella Richard. I've made a career traveling the world. I've worked for some of the biggest names in travel, and now I've traded in my business suit for a swimsuit. Swimming with the sharks, swinging at the edge of the world, throwing back a few shots, or shall I say spirits. Woo. Eating some of the best cuisine, and even making a few furry friends along the way. I invite you to come along with me and discover the world.
TV8, there's more for you on 92. Serving the local community 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Good morning, Vail.
Now, we just came off of our Memorial Day holiday weekend, and you know what that means? Summer is in full swing. Now, there are lots of fun events happening at the AMP. We had a conversation with Morgan Russell all about it.
Welcome back. We are here with Morgan Russell. Morgan, you are the venue and events manager at the Ford Amphitheater.
Yes.
And last time I talked to you, you told me there's no other place in the world you'd rather be than at work.
Absolutely. We've all got to go to work, and there's no better place to go than an outdoor amphitheater that has a great summer concert series, and we are super excited about this summer. It's going to be the busiest one on record.
amazing. So what can we expect this summer?
More of the same and a lot of new stuff as well. We've got our most packed calendar ever. We've got the most nationwide national tours coming through. We've got 22 AEG concerts, which is our big national tour partner. So we're very excited about that. We've already kicked off with a couple sold out shows in April. The Opry at the Amp concerts, which were fantastic. We're looking forward to doing those more in the future. And a week from today, we've got a sold-out concert, Joe Russo's Almost Dead, an amazing Grateful Dead tribute band. So that one's sold out as well. We've got a few sold-out shows already, some others that are nearing sellout. So if you're interested in coming to the Amp, please get your tickets soon.
Right, and I heard Robert Plant will be there, right? And that's sold out too.
Absolutely. Robert Plant with Alison Krauss, which is just an amazing duo.
Wow.
And not the Robert Plant you might know from Led Zeppelin days, but just fantastic performers, and their rapport on stage is unbeatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, a good backup option for these sold-out shows, you can always sit in the park, right?
That's true. We are adjacent to the Betty Ford Alpine Gardens and Ford Park, and on some of the sold-out nights, we see big crowds gather up in the softball fields and just listen to the music through the fence. It's a pretty good backup option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Summertime here is fantastic. I remember last year, 4th of July was amazing. What can we expect here for 4th of July and the rest of the summer?
You can expect perfect weather on 4th of July. Yeah, that's my prediction.
Yeah. I had such a blast last summer. 4th of July at the Amp was absolutely amazing. My mom was visiting from California.
Oh.
She loved it. Tell us about this 4th of July. What can we expect?
4th of July is one of the most exciting days at the Amp every summer. People look forward to it and get in line really early to get their pavilion tickets. It's an incredibly popular event. I'm personally guaranteeing great weather on July 4th this year. Don't hold me to that, but it's a fantastic event and very patriotic and celebratory and always a good time. So I hope you get a chance to come back this year.
I will absolutely be back all summer. So you have Hot Summer Nights too.
Yes, we've got the Moe's Original Barbecue Hot Summer Nights concert series. Those are our free concerts that are on Tuesday nights. And actually, very exciting news. This year, we were nominated as one of USA Today's best outdoor concert series. They're going to announce the results next week, and we are very excited to find out how we stacked up against the competition. But even just to be considered by USA Today is fantastic, and we're super excited. As always, we have a great lineup of free concerts on Tuesday nights, so we hope everyone will come out for those. We're giving away fantastic prizes. We've got our complimentary bike valet, so please ride your bike to the venue and we'll park it and watch it for free. But yeah, Hot Summer Nights is always one of the most exciting things, and we're, as always, thrilled to be partnered with Moe's. They're just one of the best partners we could imagine. So
wow, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah,
yes.
Very exciting.
Amazing. So, and you also have the dance festival.
Yeah, absolutely. As always, we've got the Vail Dance Festival, which kicks off at the end of July and runs through about mid-August. And we've got 8 fantastic performances at the Amp. They'll also be performing at the Villar Center and some other places around the valley. But we're super excited to host those 8 performances at the Amp. And Vail Dance, brings a real change of pace to our concert schedule, throws us a little bit of a pleasant curveball in the middle of the summer, just a total change of pace. And we always look forward to it. They're a pleasure to work with.
And what can we expect from Bravo this summer?
Bravo, more of the same fantastic programming. And this year, one very exciting thing Bravo is doing is bringing an opera. They're performing Tosca. So we will have a full costumed opera performed on stage by Bravo. So that's easily a highlight of the summer, and we're very excited about that. But the Bravo schedule is always jam-packed with treats and highlights, 4 fantastic orchestras, and we are so excited to welcome them again this year.
Awesome. Any tips for people? I know you told me last summer you're like, ride your bike because of the bike valet.
Yes.
What a beautiful evening. Pack a picnic, ride your bike by the creek, and then listen to live music.
Absolutely.
What other tips do you have for people?
Well, riding your bike is a great way to get there. We also really have wonderful free public transportation, our special events buses that pick up at the venue and drop off at both of the transportation centers. So that's a terrific option. The in-town bus as well. My main tip is for the popular shows, get there super early and carve out the best seat you can. and we have a lot of popular shows coming up this summer, so get there as early as you can and enjoy as much of a beautiful evening at the AMP as possible.
Great. So where can people go to find all this information?
Our website, GRFA Vail, Gerald R. Ford Amphitheater, Vail.com. So you can check that out, subscribe to our newsletter where you'll get all the updates, everything that's happening, and all the exciting stuff week by week, day by day, which shows are close to selling out, that sort of thing. Last year we went to a cashless bar, so all of our concessions are now cashless. That's been incredibly well received, and we're excited to keep that going this year. So just a reminder for everyone to bring their credit cards and their Apple Pays and all that good stuff.
Great.
Yeah.
I think we covered everything, yeah?
Perfect, yes.
Wonderful.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Maureen. I'll see you at the AMP.
Thank you for the time. Yes, see you there.
All right, thank you.
Good morning, Vail.
It's time for the best coverage of the top stories in sports. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page starts now.
How do you make Anthony Edwards the face of your franchise if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves? We'll get into that.
And we say hello to our good friend Matt Verderam, who hangs out with us from SI.com. Their NFL insider, one of them, is hanging out with us on the program today. Did you see Caitlin Clark last night? She put up a 40-burger, hits the game-winning three as time expires. Let's turn our attention to the Denver Broncos, one of the NFL's most dysfunctional situations.
The Sports Wrap with Jason Page.
From small towns to big cities and everywhere in between, we're covering the great things that are happening right now in the USA. This is Positively America with Ernie Anastas.
Each week, we're going to focus on the great things that are happening every day in the USA. We'll feature change makers.
In every older person, there's a younger person saying, how did this happen?
Innovators.
I talk about design the way some people might talk about like the person they're in love with.
Doers and dreamers.
You can use that recognition to pay it forward.
Ordinary Americans accomplishing extraordinary things.
When you smile, you receive one back most of the time.
We're going to prove to you that optimism and hope are paving the way to an even brighter tomorrow.
We've got a lot of programs that are specifically focused on the children of our fallen heroes.
At Positively America, our mission is to feature good news.
For the latest and greatest trends in pop entertainment, Popstar Today brings you compelling celebrity lifestyle stories that matter most to you. From movies, music, TV, and streaming shows, to fashion, social media influencers, and the latest on who is seeing who. Join host Elizabeth Stanton as she digs deep and dives in. This is Popstar Today.
Eight-time Emmy-nominated Animal Rescue is a half-hour television series showcasing the heroic efforts of people helping animals. Join host and award-winning journalist Alex Payne and the Animal Rescue camera crew as they travel around the world, capturing dramatic rescues, rehabilitation, and relocation stories. For programming schedule, check your local listings today. Don't miss your favorite episodes of Animal Rescue.
Good morning, Vail.
Now, Memorial Day weekend is past us at this point, but we are still in the month of May, and May is Mental Health Awareness. Now, we had a conversation with Dr. Heather Hans about psychotherapy and what that means. Let's take a look.
Welcome back. Our next guest is Dr. Heather Hans. She's a psychotherapist who has helped many people heal their mental issues and live their best lives. Dr. Hans, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
I wanted to start with talking about some research that you've done. You discovered something called, I'm sorry, I'm getting it wrong.
No,
Okay.
they're long words. Visualization and improvisation.
Can we do this over? Sorry. visualization,
I feel bad. It's a mouthful.
No. So sorry. I'll start the whole thing over. Welcome back. Our next guest is Dr. Heather Hans. She is a psychotherapist who has helped many people live their best lives. Dr. Hans, welcome. It's so good to see you.
Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled to be here. I love your work.
Thank you. I wanted to start with talking about some research you've done. You discovered something called improvisation visualization. What is that and how does that help people?
Yes, so this is actually a fun way to help your mental health and wellness because most people don't like to, deal with or uncover some maybe unpleasant patterns that they're working with or stressful memories. And I discovered this in my doctoral research where I was looking for a way to treat young women with anxiety. That was my client base at that time, the majority of my client base. And I had discovered both visualization and improvisation at some other point in time, and come to find out there's all this research on how they can reduce anxiety. So I put them together in a process that's actually also meant to be performed on TV or on stage because it's really entertaining. You think of improv, and it's more than I could say just in a short snippet, but the key is that when you visualize what you want and then you improvise your way there, it not only helps you reach that goal, but it reduces anxiety along the way.
Yeah. I mean, I took improv classes in LA at the Ground Wings, and there's a lot of yes and there's a lot of performance. What does this process look like? I can't imagine it in a clinical setting.
Yes, I'm so glad you've taken it. So you know that part of improv is yes and. You never say no to someone because you keep the flow going of improvisation. And the way I kind of discovered the freeing technique of improvisation is I did a long journey or a long workshop at one point that was in California, and it was all for improv, every day, multi-day workshop. And I felt so free. We were all just making fools of ourselves, rolling around at one point, and it really helped to diminish, perfectionism. Of course, I like to be prepared and have things go a certain way, but with improv, you can't do that. And just being able to be your natural, weird, funny, goofy self, that reduces anxiety. So that was how I kind of came on that one. And then the visualization, I stumbled upon again years ago because I'm very into spirituality and different kind of esoteric and occult studies even, and I found this this process of visualization. There's tons of research that's been done on it. Everyone from surgeons to lawyers to sports players use it to reach their goal. And through my research, I also found that it helps people reduce their anxiety as they're reaching their goal.
Wow. So have you used this technique in your own life to overcome anything?
Yes, I have. I use it all the time. In fact, when I'm on television, I do the live TV on 9 News, and that has to be very improv because you don't get the takes. But if you think about it, all of life is improv, no matter how much we plan. And so I feel like I use it every day to, when I've had something come up and that didn't go as planned. And the way that I use it is to say, okay, this is, whether it's, okay, I just got the hiccups and I'm about to go on TV or, or something really big, and personal. I look at, okay, I can do this, and you just have to be very present in the moment. This is why it works. Improvisation is about being so mindful and present right now. And you can't do that when you're thinking about the past or the future, and all of our power is in the now. So yeah, I feel like I use it every day.
That's amazing. One of my favorite quotes is, people make plans and God laughs.
Yes, exactly.
Because life is all about getting thrown curveballs all the time. I tell my kids that too. It's like, you got to go with the flow. You never know what's going to happen. So that's a really important tool to have.
Absolutely. I mean, I think of life as like one series of mistakes and repairs because it's like and even with parenthood, as you bring that up, in my research on parenthood, I found out that it's not about being a perfect mother, it's about repairing the mistakes when you weren't present with your kids, and that's what creates the security, that they see that, oh yeah, you can repair that. You don't have to be perfect.
I love that you brought that up, because I just read an article about how it affects children to see their parents constantly on their phones, right? And so I try to put my phone away to be present with my kids, like you said, and pay them attention and be there. And that means so much to them. Have you found that, our devices make it really hard for people to be present?
Yes. And your kids are very lucky that you're very conscientious like that, because kids know, even animals can sense, when you're not present. And I know personally we have a rule, like you don't look at the phone at the dinner table, and just like having certain boundaries, but also realizing that the kids grow up fast, and a lot of times all it takes is just a few minutes of connection that really fills people up. You don't have to like never be on your phone or not doing other things, but when you're with someone, to just really be fully present is a gift, and it really doesn't take that much away from the stuff you scroll through that you're probably not going to remember anyway.
Absolutely. And you're a big proponent of holistic fitness, correct?
Yes.
So what is that, and what are some takeaways that people can just start doing today, maybe to feel better?
Oh, I love that. I love that you're asking for practical tips, because it's easy, especially with psychology, to talk. A lot of it you can't see with your eyes, what someone's psychology is, but I like bringing it down to earth like that. And when I think of holistic wellness, I just think you can't be fully healthy and whole unless you have the mind, body, and spirit all healthy. Not that we're static or just all perfect and healthy, but at least on that path. And so couple things I would say is, first of all, I think most people know about exercise and how important that is, not just physically, but for your mental health and spiritually as well. In fact, the root cause of anxiety, as far as I'm concerned, this is my clinical specialty, is spiritual illness. Because you can teach people the techniques, but if they don't have that inner knowing, they're going to keep being anxious about new things. So a couple things I would suggest for people is kind of what we're talking about with the mindfulness and improvisation, is paying attention to your physical body sensations. That's the easiest, quickest way to get out of your head. So like right now, if you are very quiet, I can hear like the sound of maybe a computer, and you can see the bright lights and things that you normally don't see that aren't even a big deal, the color of the flowers, but just doing that, taking the time to do that, helps you get out of your worries, even if it's for a second. And then another thing to do is learn how to put your thoughts on trial. In other words, most people walk around believing that their thoughts and perspectives are reality. And instead, when you have a stressful thought, examine it. Is that true? Is that my perspective? And if it's not true, then you switch the thought. That's how creative we are. We can switch our thoughts and switch our realities by choice, really.
Right.
So just kind of questioning and then choosing a new thought.
Yeah. There was a philosopher that said the things that we worry about are just in our imagination. They're things that might never happen, probably won't ever happen, right?
Exactly.
Why do you think we're on this hamster wheel of ruminating on worries and thoughts? Do you think it's maybe our culture and society are contributing to this right now?
I'm sure, because there's never like one reason for anything. It's usually a combination. I do think, again, back to the spiritual illness and just illness in general, people are scared to feel calm. They're scared to be with themselves. They're scared to sit in silence. They're scared to, not have approval or. So having a core meaning in your life, something that's driving you, can help with that, because if you don't prioritize your health, you won't be healthy. It has to be the priority, and the healthier you are in mind, body, and spirit, then you're going to be giving more to other people as well.
Absolutely. I say that as a mother. I'm going to use this example again.
Yeah.
Like, I have to take care of myself. I have to prioritize sleep and health and exercise and all the things so I can be the best mom I can be. And, I see some people in this day and age, the hustle culture, they're working long hours, they're getting really worn down and burnt out. And I do think some of these tools that you've brought up could be so helpful for so many people, going through anxiety and stress.
Yes.
And can people work with you? Are you taking clients?
Yeah, so I have a therapy practice for Colorado residents, and then I also have coaching. So they're two different things. Psychotherapy, people can get a hold of me. My schedule's pretty full for that, but for coaching, that's a little different. It's more setting your goals, taking responsibility, and I provide kind of like more consulting in a way, just more education and helping people stay on track. So yes, those are all available. And then I also have a course on reducing anxiety that's very affordable, and that's on my website as well.
Amazing. So what's your website? We'll tell the viewers.
So yes, it's heatherhans.com. Thank you so much. And I also offer live speaking for all sorts of groups, whether it's a company, nonprofits, even social groups, and even families. I do presentations for sometimes.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Hans. I really enjoyed speaking with you today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right. Thank you.
Good morning, Vail.
Tune into Coffee with America and start your day in the right direction, where we go over the latest and greatest in health, lifestyle, entertainment, and more. Start your day off on Coffee with America.
Next up, we've got a special duo from two of the best voices in the bluegrass and country genres.
We know you're going to love this one from Melanie Cannon and Willie Nelson. Here's Back to Earth.
And the songs our love created, I still sing. And every night we make the rafters ring.
Join us on the famous Leadville Railroad. This historic train ride takes you on an unforgettable trip through the heart of the Rockies for an afternoon of adventure, relaxation, and sightseeing. Our scenic train rides are a perfect place to bring families closer together while immersing them in the natural beauty and rich history of this picturesque region. Enjoy the spectacular Colorado scenery. Even meet the engineer. Make memories that will last a lifetime. Tickets available at LeadvilleRailroad.com.
The Paltrowcast is an award-winning weekly series featuring exclusive interviews with entertainers, athletes, and other influencers. Tune in weekdays at 10 a.m. to see where the conversation takes us.
Paltrowcast. Good morning, Vail.
One of my favorite things of our community here in the Valley is all of the local goods that we have here within our Valley. Avisha had a fun picnic with the good stuff, so let's take a look at that adventure.
Come on.
From blue skies to mountain highs, this is your guide to all the good vibes here in Vail and beyond. I'm Avisha Scarborough. Welcome to Vail Vibes. Tonight we're coming to you from the Four Eagle Ranch in Wolcott. And an evening like this, I would say, is perfect for a picnic. And as the saying goes, a picnic with friends is like fresh air for the soul. And tonight, we're in for a real treat. I had the pleasure of enjoying a peaceful mountain picnic with good company and good food. All the good stuff I could ask for. And speaking of all the good stuff, Samantha Miller is the owner.
So All the Good Stuff is a farmer's market store and a delivery service located in Edwards. And we source everything from local Colorado producers, vendors, farmers. So when you come into the store, we're your one-stop shop for everything local. And we have everything that you need for a perfect picnic.
This is truly perfect. I can't wait to learn more about each item. Everything here is very unique. It's not stuff that you can find at the grocery store, really.
That is true. So I'll tell you about some of my favorite products that we have here today.
Okay.
First of all, these are floral crackers by Flour Co. All edible flowers. They do such a beautiful job on all of their products. They also make this floral finishing salt. Goes great on a margarita. It also goes great on watermelon. This watermelon, it's called Yellow Doll. It's one of the varieties that our farmers at Austin Family Farms in Paonia, they grow it. And this watermelon is small in size, but bursting in flavor. Over here, we have Mountain Girl Pickles. She's out of Netherlands. Her pickles are amazing, but this corn relish is out of this world. Next, we have Tremol and Tremol Verde. These are by Green Valley Foods, and these are both delicious. So this one has a little bit of spice. This one is very mild, and what's so unique about this one is instead of cilantro, they actually use fresh mint. So if you're somebody who doesn't care for cilantro, this salsa is super delicious and refreshing. You know, on a summer day, this stuff is what you need. Next up, we have Honey Bunchies bars, and if you've never had these, they are so yummy. I compare them to a Snickers bar, but without the chocolate. So they are all honey, some nuts, so you get a nice crunch, and they're ooey gooey delicious. Here we have lavender honey. What is unique about this lavender honey is it's made from bees pollinating lavender plants, and then they infuse a lavender essential oil into the honey. And they go around to each town and collect pollen from each town and infuse it into the honey. So if you're like me and suffer from seasonal allergies, their honey is so helpful for building your immune system to those local pollen. So next I'm going to talk about some of our favorite jams that we have in this store. This right here is a blackberry serrano. We've got 6 different flavors of Yummy Lotus jam. They are all so delicious. This one is one of my personal favorites, but we've got lots of samples in the store, so come by and try some. Next up, we have La Finca jam. She's out of Steamboat. She's one of our newest vendors in the store, and her jams are delicious. We have Full Stop Bakery sourdough crackers. We have these in 6 different flavors in the store. This one is the OG Parmesan and herb. This is what they look like. And they look like a pita chip, but they're actually really nice, crunchy, and airy on the inside. Two Hot Cowgirls, they make delicious caramel corn. We have this in a few different flavors. This is what it looks like, and it is just bursting with flavor. We've got a few different varieties in the store. This one's my personal favorite. It's a caramel cocoa, and it is delicious. All right, so next up we have the Good Crisp Company. They are out of Boulder, Colorado. they make the best chips. So very similar to Pringles, but better ingredients, locally made, and better for you. Next up, we have On Tap Kitchen Pretzels. We've got the honey mustard. They're really crunchy, perfect snack. We've got the Bamba Jungle Crunch Dark Chocolate. This one is with plantains. It's nice and crunchy, a little bit salty and sweet. Super delicious. Definitely recommend trying the Bamba. And they are a local company out of Denver, and everything they do is super ethical and sustainable, which is why we love working with them. Moo Cow Color Rouge cheese. I have no idea if I'm saying that right, but it doesn't matter because it is delicious and the cheese speaks for itself.
And lastly, Samantha is making us some delicious cocktails using the Flour Co. finishing salt on the rim.
We're going to add a little Prosecco because you can't have a picnic without bubbles. And then we've got these gorgeous sugar cubes by the Boozy Botanist. She's out of Denver, and they will turn your drink this gorgeous color, and they give it kind of like a fun, glittery, shimmery effect.
We decided to have our cocktails in the sun to see the full effect of the glittery, shimmery sugar, and she topped them off with some Backyard Bevco cocktail syrup. She says she started her business because she loves farmers markets. In fact, you can see her working at one almost every weekend. She saw an opportunity to bring fresh farmers market produce directly to customers who don't always have the time to browse the markets on weekends. Since it started in 2017, All the Good Stuff has evolved into a direct-to-consumer website, delivery service, and brick-and-mortar shop in Edwards. They also offer a summer and fall community-supported agriculture program where members receive a weekly curated box. She says they're passionate about supporting local businesses because it's all about sustainability, transparency, and peace of mind that comes from knowing where and how our food is grown. And she says the food just tastes amazing. So if you ever find yourself in the mood for dining al fresco or just want some delicious local goodies, well, you know where to go.
Well, thanks for joining me on this morning's edition of Good Morning Vail. Again, Tuesday, May 28th, we are coming on the end of our month. I'm Kimberly Pro, and I'll see you next time.
Good morning, Vail. See what lies in store for you. There's so many things to see and do. Summer